start by introducing yourself?
My name's Piper, and I'm the American Inkslinger. I was always an artist, or thought I was. Ever since I was a kid, I guess we all start there, right? Creative, drawing shit. I used to cut things, draw on it, then cut it out, kind of like an elephant. I remember doing an elephant. This when I was young. But the oldest picture that I got is of my dad. I remember it was out of my grandma's, and I was 7 years old, and he was just sitting there, and I was drawing it. It's a 7-year-old drawing a portrait, live portrait. I mean, I always wanted to do, but I didn't know what direction to go. You know what I mean? It was that, or you got to go to school or die to be, you know what I mean? The future of an artist is fucking starving, or fucking, you'll get rich after you die, and then there's tattooing. It saves artists from fucking starving. You know what I mean? How it caught fire, the influence of it. It's a double-edged sword. It's great though. It's great, but okay. But before that, I was just always an artist. And then when I got locked up, that was the currency. Like, no bullshit. Tattoos, the only better currency than tattoos in the joint is dope. And that's it.
You don't have to talk about the situation if you don't want to.
Right.
When you kind of realize, okay, I'm about to go do some time.
Right.
How did that feel for you?
Oh, it's just crushing. It's crushing. You right there, you got to accept it. There's some things where you, like, a lot of people have never been in situations like that, but a lot of people have, where no matter whether you want to or not, you have to accept it and act accordingly. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't want to, I can't do this. You have to accept things and handle what you got to handle. You know what I mean? There's a time in life where there's no out. So you just fucking have to fucking figure it out. I've always been an artist, but I never thought there was any real lucrative into it. But tattooing, I did like tattooing, but I still didn't understand because I still wasn't 18 at that time. But then when I got locked up, and the currency of it, and I love art, and then everybody saw me drawing and stuff, and everybody started like, come on, I'll get a machine, let's do this. And then after a while, I'm like, well, shit, you don't care, fuck it. You know what I mean? I said, let's do this. And I started working that out. And then I ended up getting sent into the hole. And then from the hole, you lose your cell once you leave it. And they'll fill it in because they don't know what the hell's going on with you for investigation. And that was for a fight. And then when they let me out, I went into another cell, and it was with this old school biker named Mike. That's when I really started picking up a lot more tricks. You know what I mean? Like before that, it's all these motherfuckers that didn't really know, and they heard this. So I started working it out like that, started adjusting it, and then being his cellie, I learned a lot of his tricks. Just how to make the ink, way he made his machines, and then I'm able to make my adjustments and everything. I'll make the slickest tattoo machine in the joint. I promise you that. I promise you that. Motherfuckers, I've seen them put it on videos. You need something that runs for hours and hours and hours if you're putting real work in. People will put electrical tape. That shit starts melting because that motor starts heating up. That needle starts drifting. You know what I mean? It's just simple things like that you got to use saran wrap. Shit like that. There's tricks that you can put in hours and hours in the joint. And it's illegal in there. So it's crazy when you want to do a big piece. This is really ballsy, is because of the escape charge. You get your cellie to swap out with the dude you're tattooing, and after they walk, then you just tattoo. When you they walk on the hour, then you got them laid back in the covers and just act like they're asleep. They just do the count. So you just swap cellies for the night. That's a rough one. But we'd always have to stop too, because you always got to stop for count, or when the man walks, when the cops do their rounds, you have to stop tattooing because they'll come by peeking in every window. And if they know you're a tattoo artist like me, my jacket's tattoo fucking affiliate as fuck. You know what I mean? Everybody knows I'm a tattoo artist. Even when I hit the yard, everybody already knows, like, hey, Piper's here. Like, I got a machine. I got whatever he needs. I got the room. I got everything. And then the cops know that shit too. So if they ever see somebody with a fresh tattoo, first thing they're going to do is go shake me down. So anybody, because I'm already the hop away of that. They already know what I do. So I'd have to have other people hold my shit. Like my machine, my ink, just so I don't want to get busted, because I'd get shook down all the time. It's crazy.
It's like a constant war between you and the cops.
Yeah, but I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I just had to step it up. Like, so I'd have them hold on to my stuff, and I had like a cock socks, what we called it. We put all the stuff in it and kind of tuck it in, flap it over. So like you pass a regular shakedown, not a strip search, but a regular one, you kind of rest it on your junk. It's kind of an art balancing act to get that. You find your own groove in that. That's for every man. Figure out himself. And there's one thing is if you're tattooing the joint, you can't tattoo everybody. You can't. It's already hot boy shit. And I'm just like dope. Everybody just can't get high off this dope. So you get a lot of haters. So like if you got your people keeping eyes watching the man in the cell.
What was that first day on the yard like when you first got in?
I don't even remember it. I don't. Just became like every other day. But I'll tell you what, every time you go to a different yard, I guess this would count. I can't remember my first, but I can remember my first at every other yard. If that makes sense. It's that same thing. It's just like fucking, oh, who's here? You know what I mean? Because you always want to run into your homies. You know, then everybody already knows you're showing up, so everybody's gonna have machines and everything. But it's still just like here's a whole new world because each prison's like a whole different world.
How many different ones did you go to?
Fuck. Just a state. We'll just see Bent, Ordway. 7 or 8.
Damn.
But that's when you start losing points and getting more points, they ship you off from custody levels. You know what I mean?
How did you get how do you get inspired to do art when you're in there? Are you like reading books? Are you like seeing designs? Like how did you kind of?
I see a lot of tattoos.
Really?
Because they're like this is in the late 90s, so like there wasn't really too much on TV yet about tattoos, except for you see in movies. But I was more or less reading everybody's tattoos, because this is in a time where tattoos actually told a story. You know what I mean? Like if you notice, like certain groups, everybody will have their own tattoos. It's a culture. It's a culture upon culture and stuff, and what it means. And it's always really interesting me reading that stuff, because I'd have to deal with a lot of it. So you understand a lot of the politics behind it. You know what I mean? Just like it's not just because little peep had teardrops, or you know what I mean? It's not regurgitated from the mainstream. It's at the birthing spot of it. You know what I mean?
What would happen if you came in there with some kind of tattoo that you weren't supposed to have?
Oh, you could get wrecked. You'll get checked on it, and then you'll get wrecked.
Have you seen that happen?
Yeah. I've had that shit. That shit will fall on me. If I ever, that's another thing. You gotta be careful what you tattoo, because if you tattoo the wrong thing on the wrong motherfucker without the blessing or the cosign, then they're gonna get in a wreck, and then you're gonna get in a wreck. So then I had I've been tattooing a long time, so I had a lot of connections with a lot of people, because I wouldn't tattoo just anything on anybody. And I really steered away from doing that. That's the number one thing you don't really want to get into, because you don't want that shit to fall back on you. And motherfuckers are always try to find a way to get shit to fall back on somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just best way to steer away from that shit as much as you can. Like kind of a prison tower, guy peeking between the bars with a mirror, keeping eyes with skulls. I mean, I didn't bother putting calendars or nothing like that, because I didn't want to fill my arm full of that bullshit.
How do you perceive time when you're locked up for that long?
Short time or long time, by seasons. When I look at years, the best way to look, the rotation is through seasons. Spring, summer, winter, fall. You know what I mean? It's even less than months. It's the best way for that to go by. All the tattooers that I met up in there, I helped. Kind of looked out for each other, you know what I mean? At least that's how I look at it, you know what I mean? And I still like to look at it. Like whatever they needed, if I could help out, I'd help. At least giving them information about like, hey, fucking, you need to fucking use this fucking needle, shit like that. You know what I mean? I'll let motherfuckers know, as long as they're cool, you know?
Can you tell me a little bit more about your cellie? He sounds interesting. Mike?
Oh, Mikey Smith. Yeah, he's an old biker. He was fucking funny though. He was ornery though, but I loved it. It was like that the way he'd always talk. It was great. It got a lot of the shit talking in there is fucking priceless. You know what I mean? You have to be quick-witted and shit, because that's what it becomes into. You know what I mean? That's how people like spar. But like, yeah, I don't even know where to start with him. He was 40-something, maybe 50.
Well, how much time was he doing?
Fucking like 30 for fucking meth. I tried looking him up the other day. I couldn't find him. But I'm looking at him like, damn, I'm 40-something now. I was like, fuck, I'd be surprised if he's still alive. The way he was going. Like, because he was tattooing consistently. But like, he helped me fucking really learn how to make the ink solid, burn the soot good, and be able to mix in the difference between Like a lot of people try to take the easy way out and mix it with VO5 because it breaks down the soot with the water easily, but it always turns that greenish. But you just take the soot and boil it down, just boil it down, break it down like that. It just all stays consistent. Like all my stuff is, I mean, whatever, it's the same tint of consistency. You know what I mean? But it took years to get that shit. Like you got to stop and go all the time. You'll be tattooing, just starting a tattoo, and there's a shakedown or there's a lockdown, and you have to stop doing what you're doing. Then you got to hide everything and fucking, and it might not be for you. You never know what happened to anybody on the yard or anything, but that shit happened all the time. So then you have to stop, wait for fucking, be able to get out again and start it over again. It got such a pain in the ass. And like no one wanted you to leave off the yard either. So that's why a lot of people helped. Because if you get too many points, they ship you off the yard and all these motherfuckers got all this unfinished work. You become needed. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's like currency.
When you got out, what was that transition like coming back into the free world and pursuing this?
Oh, that shit was hard. It was hard at first. Well, I got out on ISPI, so that's ankle monitor at first. But then they wouldn't let me tattoo. You weren't allowed to tattoo on parole. You know what I mean? They figured that I was full of a lot of drugs, problems and everything, so they didn't let you tattoo. I started an apprentice with a celebrity, and my boy ran into my boy Jibs there, who I tattoo with right now, because we did time in the joint together tattooing. So it's really tight to be working with somebody that I've known for so long. That we've like, you're not gonna tattoo every day with someone that you tattooed in the joint with. That doesn't happen all the time. There's several motherfuckers I've worked with that did. Well, I guess it does happen all the time. That's bad, it does. I love you all though. I love seeing that shit. Like, but I also see how like, a lot of doggy dog world kind of stuff. Like motherfuckers just want to hustle hard. And like we were talking earlier, like this shit on everybody else. And that's when you could tell times are hard because motherfuckers start doing that shit more. That's always when you know motherfuckers start smelling blood in the water. Seen it a fucking 1,000 times. But I love them all. Really do. I love all you motherfuckers. Can't blame the weed either. Chameleons.
You mentioned outside that you don't really drink anymore.
Oh no.
You also said that you've tattooed on everything except edibles.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. I've literally been, I'm not going to say what shops or whatnot, but like literally ended up drinking and then I'd be tattooing and the person I was tattooing, they were cool with it. Ended up doing a bump before, you know, even while I was tattooing, having someone holding it too like that. I used to just run amok. You know what I mean? I was fresh out, single, didn't give a fuck about myself. And if it's just yourself, then fuck it.
Has that changed now with you having a family and all the things that have happened to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I guess I honed in on it because I'm adopted. I don't know who my real parents are or nothing, which is fine. And I don't blame that. And I don't try to seek something in that from outward from anybody else. You know what I mean? I'm fine. Everything. I was lucky. I love my parents, but like I always wanted that connection. Blood is thicker than water. But if you don't know where your blood is, but me having my own family was the change. Because I know that's me. That's part of me. So then I got a lot of close friends that they don't have their family now because of their choices. And I know how to make poor choices when it's about me because I don't really give a fuck. You know, I always had the look out like, well, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so I might as well ride this one hard today. You know, get fucked up, do fucked up shit. But once that, I felt like it wasn't about me at all no more. I had a bigger responsibility. And that is to make their life better and easier. Well, while I was locked up, you know what I would envision and would keep me going is like, and this one, when things get crazy about energy, and I really feel that we can create the world around us by how we vibrate and how we look at things, how we speak about things, how we think about things. You know, I talk to myself a lot. I argue with myself, but I also find resonance with myself, if that makes sense. When I was in the joint, that's what I wanted. I wanted a beautiful wife.
What you envisioned?
I envisioned it. I did. You know how people talk about their vision board? I had it building it up in here. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a tattoo artist. I wanted to do art on people for a living. That's why they couldn't stop me in there, because like I was like, okay, you're not going to take this away from me. And even when they're going after me, I felt like I'm going to still tattoo. I loved it. It was there for me. You know what I mean? A way to express myself. It helped out a lot. And I always appreciate it and I love it for that. And I'm living the dream. I used to envision the life that I'm living now. It never happens overnight. It's the work you put in every day. And the big thing that helped me change is, you know, the birth of my son, but stop doing drugs, stop drinking, take responsibility of shit. Everybody's gonna make their own choices, but making the right choices for the right reasons and that's all I think about now. That's why I got my son's names tattooed on my head. Because no matter what the fuck is going on, I'm always thinking about them. Because I won't let like stupid little bullshit make me lose that. See, I ain't worried about going back. I'm worried about leaving my fucking family to the wolves, you know? But my passion is with fucking art and tattooing. I'm blessed and I appreciate more than anything that I'm able to do that now. You know, I'm able to take care of my family because of my clients. And that's the thing about clients. They always become your best friends. You always get tight with them. It's like, it's kind of ritualistic, you know what I mean? You've spent for hours with each other and you just shooting the shit. You get to know each other real good. I love my job. You know what I mean? You get to build your own world. I get to go home to my family and I get to deal with amazing people all day and doing what I love. Can't complain.